Welcome, guys. This is episode 4 of All Bharat AI Association podcast. And $1 trillion have been wiped off from the US stock market. What happened?
Yeah, this might be some kind of hype or, in the first phase of it, Jan 20th was that eventful day where, markets started kind of riveting and NVIDIA lost 593 trillion in a day. 593 billion in a day. And after that, eventually, the collateral the damage was totally 1 trillion. So, so this is this wannabe new startup in China which came out of blue from nowhere. I don't know, and some obscure guy called as Liang Wenfeng, and he created an LLM which has kind of rivaled totally Gemini or even OpenAI, ChatGPT, and everybody. And the beauty of that was that they are giving it for free, and for it's considered as an open source. So due to this, Apple stores, the app downloads increased exponentially in a day, and in a day it defeated the whole of ChatGPT's ranking in Apple Store. So it was 2 million downloads in a day. So this spike, kind of caused a very huge kind of an effect, and markets started crashing and sticking.
But why did NVIDIA started crashing in that? Because is it because they figured out a way to use lower computing power and that will lead to a lesser number of NVIDIA chips to be used, and that could consequently affect their sales?
Yeah, so basically, typically, all these latest, OpenAI and all are running on H100. Chip of NVIDIA, which is the latest version and it's very expensive. What these guys are running, DeepSeek is running on H800 chip. H800 is like a 2022 chip, version of the chip, which is older and the performance is low. So the typically ChatGPT requires 1 lakh and more chips, to process their data, or kind of for their data to run and the machine algorithms to run. So what happened is that they are using an old version of a chip, and only 2,000 of those chips, and they are producing magic out of the box actually.
So you're saying so NVIDIA stocks really went through the roof because the biggest AI chip maker in the world.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, है ना?
Yeah, that's right.
And
another, so I'm saying, where is 1 lakh chips and where is 2,000 chips?
Yeah. Right? And that too of an older version.
Yeah, that too of an older version. And this seemed to be like, it's like totally, you're selling a Mercedes car for, just the price of a Maruti 800. So that's the kind of a scenario that was created. And overnight, people started, having shocking disbelief that how could NVIDIA cheap chips, which are just so meager in number, can produce a LLM or a model which can beat ChatGPT overnight.
What do you think, Divakar?
See, on the face of it, when you hear this news, whatever used to traditionally cost $100 million is now down to $6 million, your first reaction is that, wow, what a great innovation. It just reminds you of an era when computers used to cost maybe tens of $1,000, and then you bring out a laptop for $1,000. So, and that's the thing that we saw, when we used to buy computers in the 80s and the 90s, right? So they used to cost over 1 lakh rupee in Indian rupees, and then nowadays laptop you can get it for 20,000 also. So, and today's rupees. So it seems like there is a innovation happens. But then at one point, what also got me thinking is that what is the sanctity behind that 6 million number that they are saying? Have these numbers been thoroughly researched, audited? I mean, I'm not being a skeptic, but I'm just going by the what do you call it? The principle logic, of you can to explain me by logic step by step how you got to there. So so in that aspect, where the DeepSeek has not. We don't know what are their audited financials and how they have if it is a published number, like how they have got to the 6 million, are they only showcasing certain aspects? Like for example, like I can set up a soap factory for, let's say, 50 crore rupees, and bring my cost of production for soap at 5 rupees. But but to get to the 5 rupees soap production cost, I have to set up first, invest 50 rupees, 50 crore capex to get to that. And then I can, but obviously I'll have to amortize that 50 crore rupees over the period of the lifetime of the factory to get to that true cost of manufacturing the soap. So, Vipin bhai, do you think that those capex costs have been excluded when they are mentioning that 6 million number?
They have not mentioned any figures on that.
Right.
They just said a blanket, just a general term ki 5.5 or 6 million. This is the cost.
Open source and free.
And open source and free. But this is the best hook for any media. Media went berserk.
Actually, if you compare nowadays, why people are so crazy about this? Because ChatGPT is free.
Yeah.
But their ChatGPT 4.0, that version, it is
$200, na?
you can no their API cost is very high actually, right? For input and output, it's like cost typically $15 for any application that is using it, and everybody is kind of squeezed out of it. But they are offering it for just 0.2 cents, the API also.
Achha.
So overnight, all the industrial applications, they are dreaming something like, the costs have gone down like, and they tried to check it really, like how does it look like? And when even I checked it overnight, and I found the inference is really good. Inference is the response time and how fast it throws the content to you. I found the content little bit weird somewhere. It's not at par of ChatGPT, but it did a pretty good job actually in that sense. So that gave me gave all around the people, all the businesses around the people around the world, this notion that this is going to beat ChatGPT 2 to ground. And if you see in YouTube overnight, in 5 or 6 hours, all the YouTube influencers who are
talking
into
about
AI technology, they are saying, ChatGPT is dead now. It's gone. It's dusted. It's like that.
So US just announced the Stargate project, $500 billion.
That's true.
And do you think this was very strategically? So I have a potential theory. The Chinese already had this. And like the owner, like Liang and the Chinese government, they knew that our model is as good as any of the top models today, but they waited for Stargate. They announced, US government announced Stargate and 500 billion,
and Trump's elections also.
And then very strategically, then they put out their model DeepSeek, because out of nowhere it came.
So that's why there is an obscure story that some college boy, he finished his education and he started and he's not a core computer scientist from any.
And this was not even like a main project. This was their side project.
Side project actually. Because if you see in the Indian context, how Indians are building it. Indians are building. You might have heard. Indian engineers, Indian LLM called as Hanuman. There was a lot of hyperbole about that actually. Bharat GPT. Earlier it was named as Bharat GPT. Then they have changed it to Bharat Gen. Now somebody like Ambani's are investing on that. And I have a very close friend who is in IIT Bombay who is working on this Hanuman. He is the lead of this Hanuman project. So this Hanuman project made a big hyperbole, and a lot of crores were invested into it. The Reliance is after it, and everything is there, but they didn't pull out any magic out of anywhere. And suddenly this obscure guy, in not even in Beijing or Shanghai or anywhere, he's somewhere in Xinjiang, where which is mostly an industrial area, and there he's springing up. So that's where things get kind of a little bit murky about it. But performance wise and the way the offerings that they are giving, they are fabulous, and they are really kind of, they can pull any kind of businesses, all small, medium enterprises towards them, in coming weeks actually.
So, for example, now I'm thinking a couple of things on my head right now. One is that now AI has become even more accessible because
Yeah.
for entrepreneurs this was a major challenge. I have a use case, मगर यार ये API इतना expensive है, I don't have the working capital for it. Now you've brought it what 100x down.
Yeah,
Now this might have much more use cases than before.
that's right.
That is one. And second, I feel that maybe NVIDIA, ChatGPT, Anthropic, they knew that dekho yaar, it is not so expensive or complicated, but let's keep it that way. The persona of it. क्योंकि भाई bill भाई
Yeah. They have to earn
इतना
money.
मतलब stock value इतना ऊपर हो गया. So do you think that the US was with the government, so US companies and the government purposely wanted everyone to think that, oh, this is very sophisticated, highly expensive, and
You
let's
have to
say,
pay the price.
yeah, and like 500 billion हम डाल रहे हैं, मतलब कितना ही complicated होगा.
I don't
He
think
can
they
speak more.
artificially kept it high. I don't
Acha.
think that way.
It was not inflated on
Yeah,
purpose.
because see, whenever a new technology comes out,
Hmm.
initially it is going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Think about think about an example from a pharmaceutical.
Hmm.
When a new blockbuster drug is invented,
Yeah.
when large organizations like your Pfizer or Merck's of the world, when they make, so they are given a patent to
Yeah.
hold that, right? So that's because they invested a lot of bit in the R&D. Now, once the patent is released, some innovation is there. The moment it goes off patent, when the things go off patent, the prices fall because your know-how is there, and then many people can come and make it.
Yeah.
So similarly, even in these kind of technologies, like think about like how used to be mobile phone rates. I mean, mobile phone prices used to be very high,
Yeah, very high.
and then when the technology became well known, then everything started crashing. So that's I don't think they kept it artificially high. My only question is that yes, if you do something at scale, then obviously the prices will
Go down.
fall down because of the economic of scale and that. My only thing is that the only question is that yes, as we discussed a little while before that the true cost of DeepSeek is probably not revealed.
Not revealed.
And second is it could be a case that the DeepSeek or its backers might be initially subsidizing. So when you introduce a new product, you tend to subsidize. Like for example, correct me if I'm wrong, but Vipin, when Google Maps releases API, they made it I think free.
Free, yeah, that's right.
Now they started charging a few years back, but
No,
initially
they only hit the businesses, not the individual. मतलब common man, he gets it for free.
No,
only.
but for the business part.
Yeah, business, yeah.
It was free for a
Free,
while.
yeah, that's
for a while
right.
it was free because you want to promote adoption.
Yeah.
Just like the way Amazon gives out
That's
credit,
right.
so that you start adopting this technology. So in that case, either they are subsidizing or they are not revealed the true cost. But to answer your question on whether NVIDIA have kept the prices artificially high, I don't think that would be the case.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know much about what thought process NVIDIA might have gone through, but there is a big future, kind of what you can say, consequences that is coming in because this DeepSeek is made on older chip, which was available in 2022, and after that, the America put a sanction or they tried to protect their technology, and in November 2024 they have put a embargo wherein this particular H100 technology or H100 version and higher technology will not be transferred to China. Okay. So now H100, which is the latest version, that can be trained very nicely, because it has got more power and all that, right? So now the question lies, now once they want to train more models and more this data, so they don't have the chip which the US has.
Okay.
Because the sanctions are in place, so export will not happen. So now the big question is like how they are going to upgrade these models. So this might be short lived for some time, maybe and eventually this chat GPT and all, they will try to again kind of upgrade their technology more higher than them, and they cannot catch up with that.
I think we heard from OpenAI that they appreciate what the DeepSeek has done, and they will also build on what they have right now to achieve the same level of effect in terms of digital prices or on that. And even like today, they heard about Alibaba also. I think Alibaba company also launching their own version, which is they claim to outperform DeepSeek as well.
True.
So we'll see a lot of these innovations happening.
Just segueing into from your point, there is a big concern that great DeepSeek beats most of your AIs at most of the parameters, but okay, it's again a Chinese company. It again around the same, like TikTok got banned, then it's back. There was data privacy. AI pe already people put so much of private information for day-to-day tasks. Even shayad private company details, quickly summarize this for me. All this data is either with a US company or now probably with a Chinese company. Do you think the future of LLMs is going to be very country specific? India ka LLM, which is only working best in India for India. Like maybe because India is so multilinguistic and having the nuances of Indians. US, okay, ChatGPT is already there, but it will become very geography specific.
Yeah, maybe because the sizes of these LLMs are decreasing as we go on speaking, right? But technologically, if you say DeepSeek is not a threat, because it's very simple. If you don't have internet, you can still download it and use it without connecting to any network. Okay. So that way it shows that somebody first thing they will think China mera data utha lega, US, but US and China are not, as per se, they are not picking up the data. They might be in future do through some loopholes, they might be kind of stealing your data, might be possibility, but currently DeepSeek is not doing anything. It's like a very, very good boy who is very cute and very friendly and kind of amiable with everybody and running around like this. Actually, maybe it might show some other avatar later on, but currently everything is like there is no red flags as such in this. So what I was saying is that we have to wait and watch. That's the only thing that we can do, how they are kind of maneuvering and moving ahead actually.
But from an investor perspective, so coming back to the point that $1 trillion have been wiped out. So now what is a investor looking at when he's when let's say an AI company comes to him or her?
See, from an investor perspective, is when they put in the money, they put it on the vision of what is this company going to be in future. And in a rapidly innovating and evolving field like AI, the ability of the investee company or its management / founders to be continuing to be on a continuous innovation, what you call treadmill, is critical. So because today, you may have some feature that you are selling, but tomorrow OpenAI or DeepSeek just make it free available, then you are basically done. So it's the ability of the team, the investing company and the management to keep on to be on the continuous innovation. That is going to be the key. So that's the conviction needs to happen. And as an investor, you cannot bind yourself with a particular emotionally attach yourself to a particular technology, because technology gets disrupted. So from that point of view, yes, if those who are initially invested in NVIDIA or some of the related companies, they will suffer initially in a short term, because obviously the drop in the share prices is going to affect you. But over a period of time, it then depends on the ability of these companies to bounce back and regain their innovative edge. That is going to be the differentiator.
So, Vipin, you have an AI company.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, how does this make you feel? Because, okay, you have a certain service or a product. आपके backend के कुछ APIs आप use कर रहे हो. When you see that, okay, something like this comes up, does it make you question, is my product or service going to be relevant in maybe even a few months?
Yeah, actually, I am overjoyed with this DeepSeek because prices have slashed. My expenses will go down. If I am giving this I can give this to more and more people. I can expand my market as much as possible. That's a very good news for me, business-wise, earning money-wise. Other concern will be, those who are very kind of aware kind of a customer or somebody who is doing a business, they will obviously ask, which LLM you're using, and they will have apprehensions about the security and all that. So I cannot, but for a small and medium kind of business owners who have AI startups and all, this is kind of a, it's kind of a joyful news, and it's a kind of a deal breaker for them actually. And they are going to kind of pursue this, and they are going to kind of, I'm definitely going to say that they are going to migrate from ChatGPT sooner or later. Because I saw many of these other allied products, AI product, overnight, they have started distributing DeepSeek's APIs. Like overnight, in 13 hours, all the technologies have started giving it, kind of in their application dashboards. So I'm using a AI workflow called as Flowwise. It was like, so till Monday, I didn't see anything. Now suddenly, last night I saw all the DeepSeek APIs, logos, everywhere. The branding has started coming in actually.
Okay.
So you can see a market sweep right away.
So, but what you are referring to are the startups that are working in the application layer. Right?
Application layer, that's right.
Because they, for them, the cost, so is in a way like a raw material.
Raw materials or
cost
sasta ho
cost
gaya. Yeah.
But the big enterprises will not tread into it. They will tread very consciously.
China connection?
Yeah, because of the China connection. And also, clients will make apprehensive about like, their data security and all that. So, because obviously they will trust somebody like Microsoft, or they will, it's like, the big fish will always kind of vouch for the the bigger fish actually.
Yeah, but I think, the innovators, the entrepreneurs who want to quickly and move
scale up,
agile and scale up, they would definitely go for DeepSeek.
DeepSeek.
So it's very interesting that China has historically been the factory of the world.
Yeah.
It has been a manufacturing hub. Coming with TikTok came out of China. I think Build Your Dream, BYD, another global EV company, comes out of China. Now such a big AI company. China is slowly, but with all these examples, now becoming a bigger and bigger tech player, like from an innovation perspective. Pehla wo innovation ke liye, it was not known for innovation per se.
Actually, Chinese are very aggressive, and they are very bullish also. They are not bullish about Western market and things like that. They want to grow everything in house. You can see that from their latest trends. If you see, like since last 2-3 years, they are hardly sending any of their engineering students or any of their scientific and technical students to US universities. They have stopped it literally. They encourage their students not to go. So they are kind of consolidating all that talent pool within China. That's a very, very brilliant thing that they are doing. India is not following that thing, because India is like anybody is that they end up in some top and Ivy League colleges sooner or later. China is very, very cautious about that, and they are pooling their talent within their country. That's one brilliant step. Now, after this, whatever innovation, because I remember just 1 year back when I started this AI product, so we wanted to do a lot of research, because, we wanted to see what is trending in scientific world and stuff like that. So all we could find is, Chinese papers, Chinese have written this, Chinese have written that, Chinese. So you can see that so much is happening in their countries, and I'm damn sure they are very, very aggressive, and they are aiming very big, and it looks like they are going to dethrone US in terms of technology, and this is one step in that direction for sure.
But isn't it because Chinese companies have historically enjoyed state support? For example, some of the large big tech companies in the US, for example, Google, it's not really the big in China.
They don't use also.
They don't even use it. And in some cases, the services are even blocked. Like Facebook cannot be accessed from China. So those sort of. Do you think that because of this restrictions that was put by the Chinese government, the local companies grew up big on that?
Yeah, maybe you can say like that. But if you see the classic case of Alibaba, Alibaba didn't survive. although it was so and it's all because of the Chinese state. This actually, anywhere wherever you restrict freedom, obviously there is going to be kind of stunted growth.
Yeah.
So I feel that you can nurture and grow the kind of market there in China. That's which is sheltered by the state and the Chinese government. That is well and good, but too much restrictions might not give that kind of growth. With these recent trends in 2023 24, as I was saying, with all the mushrooming of so many researchers, so many papers, so many, you can see the reels also. They are making something weird gadgets every day, something or the other, like very aggressive. They are moving. So that goes to show that kind of they have given them freedom. Okay, it's not like China 5 years back, where everything was Alibaba cannot earn, this cannot earn, they cannot start an office there and this and that. Now they are giving freedom. That's what I see actually, and this freedom will naturally give growth, and they will flourish if this goes on like this.
What are the implications for all of this? With DeepSeek coming in, with the cost of LLMs itna down. I'm more interested is what are the on-ground implications for India with all these developments?
India, actually, India is, I don't know why it's missing all the buses, Because see, some lad from kind of China, he's not, and he can bring up some so much good technologies. We have so many IITs, 14 IITs, and they're churning out so good, such a good breed of, I'm surprised they end up in Mahakumbh. Like that. But the point I'm saying is, India is missing the kind of the blitz actually, because so much talent, passes out every year, but nothing is coming out. In the ratio of conversion into some innovative technology is very low actually. So India has to buckle its belt.
In India, what I have observed is that things that are supported by the government. For example, the 3 success stories of India that I will talk about is the ISRO, which even Elon Musk has praised, because using frugal innovation and at a limited budget, they have achieved so much. Second is your all famous UPI that we have. That is even the leaders from the OECD countries, even the G7, they were amazed how you can, from a roadside vegetable vendor, you can buy UPI, something which is not like Nicolas. Who was the French president? Emmanuel Macron. He was surprised how you can do that. He said, I can't possibly do that in France. And the third, which is still in the works, which is your ONDC and those type of platforms. Although it's very early days on ONDC, and I'm sure with various closed platforms are still trying to make sure that it doesn't become mainstream so quickly. But that is what is happening. So why is it in the government? Because you get a kind of a support from institutional support. So, but in the private sector, like what we are looking at, typically the mindset of any investors have been basically to focus on things which have worked elsewhere.
Right.
So what works elsewhere, you have a template you try to see replicated here. So because at the end of the day, these are all risk capital. And when you are investing in these sort of projects, the risk quotient is too high.
Too high. That's true.
So while writing off a couple of $1 million may not be that difficult, but when you are looking at something which involves hundreds of millions or even $1 billion, then the risk propensity becomes very questionable in that. Like, the risk appetite goes down in that sense. So that's when you have the government, which is with its sort of a frugal innovation and support, which they can keep on doing on that. So that is why, and they can go at their own pace. There is no hurry. In the private sector, what is that? Sometimes the pace of innovation has to be fast, right? Otherwise, somebody else will come up and take it.
Yeah.
When things are backed by the government, the risk is kind of lower in that sense.
But
That's
then that
my
stuns
view.
the innovation aspect as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, I think the government has to take take a prominent role in.
Is it not? Is the Indian government
I
not?
mean, they are doing
Yeah,
it, but
they're
I
doing
think
a
they have
lot
to
of things.
do a lot more.
of things.
Like for
See-
example, we heard about 10,000 crore,
Yeah.
which is about a little over $1 billion budget. I think they will have to increase that innovation budget beyond 1 billion for AI. So it has to be at least going up at least. I mean, with my limited understanding, I can say it has to go at least 10x or 20x of that, because we are comparing against 500 billion, which is done in the US. Although you probably don't need that, but at least 1 billion is also not going to go get you anywhere.
Actually, what I think is that Indians should start believing in themselves, sooner or later. They should have this self-affirmation that they can do it actually. So I think that's lacking a lot in Indians, because I remember when this LLMs were all coming in actually, and ChatGPT wasn't full-fledged. So I talked to this IIT professor who is lead in AI. So everybody was questioning him, why you guys are not, creating something like ChatGPT or OpenAI.
Yeah.
So his answer kind of like gave me a big kind of a picture of how the Indian mindset is.
Okay.
So he said, we are not trying to create anything new. What we are trying to create is those who have passed out from IITs and they are working in OpenAI or Microsoft or deep learning of Google and all that.
Yeah.
We are trying to keep continuous communication with them and trying to map what they are building there.
Okay.
And trying to, so basically you're saying that we are just trying to copy whatever they are making.
Yeah.
So that we'll have to come out of that mindset that whatever America is building and whatever China is building is superior, and whatever we are building is like.
And that's also other things like the initial set of the unicorn startups that we had in India. Like they were basically sort of a copycat or followed or with an Indian adjustment that they did. So that's how they become, and investors realize money in that. So taking those kind of risks is something which they will take a backseat on, and unless it is supported by governments and all that. So.
One thing, one question for Diwakar is like, after this DeepSeek, what do you think like the investment ecosystem in India, how they will maneuver, or what do you think government will release?
Valuations तो पक्का down हो गए रहेंगे.
Will they release more money or
No, but see, DeepSeek is right now sort of whatever is advertised. I mean, and I am still not convinced that the full story has been put out. But assuming for a moment that if it is correct, I mean that has created a what you call a ambiguous effect, ambivalent or ambiguous effect, because at one point you are saying, oh, we could have also done it. The second time is like, but how do you go about doing this? So those sort of ambivalent feelings will keep on coming. But broadly, I don't think there is going to be much change in the way in the near term on how the investors are going to be looking at the startups. The only thing is that this guy has now the things have become cheaper, so probably there will be more competition in this. So correct. So businesses like, for example, businesses that have generally businesses which flourish in the long term are those, in my opinion, is where the entry barrier is a bit high.
Okay.
So otherwise like it's easy to enter and disrupt the markets, right? So today you may be there, but tomorrow somebody else and comes if the entry barrier is low. Now, if the cost of compute, so application layer, I think it will become like a sort of a commodity. Like everybody will come and start building things on that if the prices have fallen. But then in the short term, that is going to happen. But in India, in the medium term, now who uses those inputs, raw material inputs, as I call it, like lower cost of making those applications, and builds it for a certain unique application or unique use cases that is not thought of before, and they will have some moat for it for a while until somebody else comes and disrupts it. So, see, disruption will keep on happening, like right. As I mentioned to you before, like you have to be on a continuous innovation curve. That's where you'll go with. It's like in the glorious days, Intel became Intel because they had been on the on the innovation curve continuously. Imagine how fast the chips were in the 1970s or 80s. How the chips, like I remember when I bought my first laptop back in year 2000, I was using 650 MB RAM.
Okay.
Now 16 GB RAM is sometimes not enough in a personal computer. So you see that.
I think what you said, just taking a point from what you said, definitely use case, because I think and वो होने ही वाला है. It will become a commodity. It already is.
Right.
There is not a single person in this room, or probably people who are watching, who's not used some kind of AI in some capacity in the last 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
The application aspect, what are you using it for?
Yeah.
If you're just using it for, summarize this.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
you're, so fir, okay, that's the thing.
Because that's a very, whatever Diwakar said, that's a very important point for us startups and entrepreneurs, because we want to see how this is going to pan out. Because if things are coming so cheap, so obviously the investments, kind of that capex will also go down and this and that. And, you cannot build a story around something which says that, "Arey, ye to bahut mehenga hai," and you will have to kind of pay the price for that. So that effect also might, be felt sooner or later, because, this hype is creating, all this is creating a bubble around the world, saying that AI is much cheaper than what you expect actually. And if the common man becomes more and more aware about that, that's a little bit, dangerous for entrepreneurs and startups and all that. Because then they cannot kind of bargain more on, the technology.
Got it. What would your three advice be? Okay, let me rephrase it. If you have to give advice to a young AI entrepreneur, what would be your top 3 advices?
Diwakar, you can, because I think he has more insights.
Mine is 2 basically key advices. One,
Yeah.
I already said, be on a continuous innovation
Learning curve,
keep learning, keep researching, and be on a continuous innovation curve. And second is be patient.
Okay.
That is also important, because you may not immediately see the results.
Yeah.
But if you stuck at it long, think of it like a marathon. I mean, you're not going to win the first kilometer. You have to be performing all the way to the 42nd kilometer to succeed.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying this because I recently ran the marathon.
Nice plug-in.
But yeah, I mean, I can feel that.
Yeah.
So that's all my advice for the entrepreneur would be in that. So
Okay.
be patient and be on a continuous innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I want to steal that point only, because see, there is constant innovation going on. Okay. So startups tend to kind of believe that, "Arey, aaj ye bana hai, I will make something else tomorrow, and then after that tomorrow, this technology has come in, that technology is coming," and it confuses you a lot actually. So what I said, it's same as what it reverbs with Diwakar's opinion, is that whatever you're making, you stick to it and try to sell it, and try to capture a market for it first. And try to understand what your customer wants, and try to solve the problem of the customer rather than trying to solve the technology that is at your place. Problem solving for the customer should be your topmost priority.
So that is entrepreneurship 101, irrespective of tech.
So it doesn't kind of change if the technology is wavering and it's going in haywire in this direction. You just have to give good service to your customer, and you have to understand their pain points. And whatever technology that you are getting in, you have to just give that. That's one thing that I have learned actually.
Actually, it kind of rhymes with like what we used to hear when we used to study in the schools, and we are instructed about essay writing. Like, best essay is useless if nobody can read it. The best technology is useless if nobody can
use it.
Right.
Right. So that is the case actually. So they have to be patient. They have to kind of be persistent, more or less, because now the waves will be very more kind of erratic, whichever will be coming, the technology waves. Because just 3 months back I was talking about just agents, AI agent technology. Now within 2 months it's changed completely. The landscape has changed. Now they are talking about more workflows, advanced workflows, orchestrated workflows agents. So there will be more and more agents connected in a network, more agents like that. So that singular agent theory and all that, it's like, it's busted
Old
actually.
news now.
So the technology is very erratic, changes are happening like overnight actually.
And also one other thing is that because the innovation has to be the speed of innovation has also increased. Earlier, what used to happen is that you make a product, milk it out for several years, and then you can introduce new one. Now that timeline window has dropped from immensely from that 2-3 years to maybe a couple of months. You are lucky if you're able to do it in a couple of months.
You cannot put your feet on ground. The moment you put the feet on, immediately you are something else comes in the like that. So yeah, so these are the, you can say good times, bad times. It's like a kind of a mixture of both actually.
Right. Yes, the entry barriers have become have fallen. Like for example, I was yesterday reading like how a group of women started Ledger Papar with just 80 rupees back in 60s. Today I can say even if I give you 8 lakh rupees, you won't be able to create a Ledger Papar just with that. Just with that.
But I think this will now have, because of all this, the new lot of entrepreneurs will find new types of business models, which were not there before.
Correct.
And I don't know, I always because I'm skewed towards media. I'm always looking at what are the media applications.
Right.
Today, with the right softwares, with the right, now I strongly believe every company should have a small innovations lab.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Like a small job, बोल रहे थे failure fund जैसा.
Yeah, so failure budget is very important because see, to invest in R&D, I mean, your outcome may not be what you envision. So you need to set aside a certain portion, which can be you can be a failure budget or your gambling budget, whatever you call it. So like if it hits, but if it hits, you'll become big. But if it doesn't hit, it's not affecting you that much. Okay, at least you are trying something in that. So I think that failure budget has to be there in the R&Ds, so that that's where the innovation will come out from, because then it will motivate people to take part in the research. Right now, like a lot of people, first emphasis is भाई कोई job मिल जाए, कोई steady income हो जाए, कुछ हो जाए. That's the mindset for most of the people. But to take these kind of innovation risk, तो अगर कोई failure budget रहेगा जो support करेगा, at least to get about with their life without worrying about कि भाई अगर आज नहीं बना तो hand to mouth नहीं रह सकते, तो at least that kind of thing will be addressed with that.
This is a good segue. We've decided to have one game today. We've never done this on our podcast, but today we want to have a game between both of you. I'll just explain. So you know about these surveys, right? I'm neutral about it. I agree. I disagree. I strongly agree. I strongly disagree.
That's true.
So I'll be asking you a set of questions. We'll be getting in a table.
Okay.
You're sitting at the table and you just have to react to what I say. I'm going to put out a statement and you just have to tell me whether you agree, you disagree, you're neutral, or you strongly agree or disagree. Yeah? Okay, so let's start. Should AI have rights? Okay. Why so? क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए rights?
See, AI is more like a tool, and rights, I think, should belong to a person. So, while AI is not a person, so that's why I'm saying they should not have their own rights.
AI is not conscious.
It's like corporation. Corporation may have an entity, but it still does not have a right to vote.
But there are talks of, eventually AI might become fully autonomous. तभी क्या करेंगे?
So we will wait for that time.
Yeah, we'll play this game again then.
Then it will be like Skynet coming.
Okay.
Should world government regulate AI? Again, there's an agreement आप दोनों का. Why?
I will say they should agree because they should regulate simply because of the privacy and data misuse aspects that can happen. So that's, I will say, why they should regulate it. But then again, actually, let's just keep it that.
Yeah, I think they should regulate it because on a local level, country-wise, and also on a global level, because as you say, you see that AI is in one sense killing the creativity, the content, this power or whatever, the ingenious content of people. So that way, if you don't regulate, then there will be a lot of chaos, and that's the only way where we can That's why I didn't strongly agree, because the regulation should not go to the other extreme where we completely kind of stop the growth of AI in different fields.
Okay. Um, Indian tech hub will overtake Silicon Valley in becoming the AI innovators of the world.
I will keep it neutral.
Why do you disagree, Vipin?
Because they have money power, they have lots and lots of money, and they have they have the talent pool, they have the cream of all the world, and they are situated in United States of America, which is, as you all know, he's the uncle and big brother of all. So they will definitely not give that baton to Indians for sure.
What about you?
Well, I will say time will tell. That is why I go with neutral, because you never know what will happen in the future. While I'm sounding optimistic, but I have a couple of points that I go by. The past is not entirely indicative of the future, and second thing is that if an example like China can do it, we can also do it in a few decades, if not a few years. So that's why I'll stay neutral, just to see, wait and watch.
Should there be a kill switch for AI?
Yeah, agree.
Okay, one of you agrees, another one is strongly agree. So, Vipin, there is a world where there is not like a complete kill switch. But yeah, chalo, agar kuch fuck up hota hai, but not complete.
Because till the time we make this switch, the AI would have percolated so much that there will be no single point where you can stop it. Okay, it will be everywhere. Yeah, so you cannot centralize and stop it with one single switch.
One big red button somewhere.
Or it's not like that Matrix thing that you eat a blue pill and a red pill. It's not like that.
What do you, Divakar?
Well, I still think that human in the loop should be there. While you can do all the automation, at least there should be some power on the humans to override.
Yeah.
So for a fail-safe situation,
Yeah.
you need to have a switch. Now there can be a debate whether it has to be one switch or multiple switch.
Yeah.
But there has to be a switch wherein you can, stop the system if needed.
Okay. China will be the AI capital of the world.
Yeah, same here.
Agreed. You both are saying that China is going to be the AI capital.
They have
not
the
US.
They have the potential actually.
Yeah, at least in the near term, there certainly will be there, because now they are. Take example of DeepSeek that's come out. Although in our earlier podcast we talked about there are many questions to be answered, but even coming to that stage, I think they are on the curve. And if the rest of the world doesn't catch us up, then they will certainly be in a pole position.
Okay.
So what I think is, like, if you throw a stone now in AI world, it will, and definitely hit a Chinese for sure. so I cannot deny the fact that they will kind of become very powerful.
India will never be a AI capital.
Yeah, same here. India has a lot of potential, and they, AI is incomplete without Indians. That's for sure. Because if you see OpenAI or Microsoft, Google's, this also deep learning, all of them have plenty of Indian engineers.
Okay.
So somewhere down the line in future, they might be so
if Indians go on
that-
strike,
they can do a coup. They will kind of overthrow the big czars of AI, and they might just become a democratic or a republic of Indian AI entrepreneurs.
Wow.
That can happen, because just the other day I was seeing all the engineers that are there in OpenAI. Maximum are
Indians.
Yeah, Indians. It's just like the old days where NASA had around 68% Indians. But those Indians are so neutral that they have not overthrown NASA and made it another ISRO. So same way, hope that Indians get that much patriotic and that much zeal ridden that they come together and overthrow whoever is there, Sam Altman or Mark Zuckerberg, whoever is there.
My view is that, like in a game of football, there have been different world champions at different points. So same way, I think India certainly has a potential to do it in future. I don't know when that will be, but it holds a promise. So someday, hopefully, there should be an AI capital, just like someday certain countries, certain nations are world champions in football.
The government is purposely not regulating AI laws.
I will stick neutral.
I will disagree with that actually.
Let's start with you first.
Actually, the AI laws, I think our policy is still very much in the rudimentary phase. So I think there are a lot needs to be done here before you can take a stand. That's why because of the lack of more information, I will just stay neutral.
What about you, Vipin?
I disagree because I have seen a trend where government is kind of whipping. They are like they are some regulations are mushrooming up and people are kind of, because these MITI laws and policies and all that, they are going in a direction where the regulation will come in. But given that our Indian government is reactive, that's very clear. Unless and until something big happens, लोग मरते नहीं हैं and systems crash नहीं होते, तब तक they will not kind of take an action. So that is there, but I am seeing a very early trends of regulation coming in.
Okay. AI is a bubble.
Because it's no more a myth, it's a reality, and it's sitting right in front of you and looking at your eye.
And you can, to add to Vipin, you can ignore it at your own peril.
That's the icing on the cake, actually.
Cool. That was my last question. With that, we're at the end of this. Thank you so much. Very interesting. I think we're at a space right now in the industry where nobody's really sure what's going to happen. Although we are like optimistic, we can only be optimistic. But we don't know what really lies in the future. Okay. Thank you so much.